Hey guys, CJ here, and welcome back to another all-new, super late edition of Hybrid News Now. Though you may have already seen a little bit of me today with that H&N Newsflash video about the Finn Jones casting, we're going to talk a little bit more about that and specifically some of the reaction and my personal opinions on that in our top story today, but we're also going to talk a little bit about Wolverine 3 and its supposed R rating, and a little bit more about Megalyn Echikunwoke and her performance last night on Arrow and the potential for more Vixen going forward. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, the news that is taking everyone by surprise and the world by storm today is that Finn Jones, aka Loras Tyrell from Game of Thrones, will be playing Danny Rand, aka Iron Fist, in the Netflix series that bears the same name. But a lot of you probably like, you already talked about this a little bit in the video, why are you talking about it again? Well, that video was literally pretty much just the facts. I want to give a little bit of opinion on the casting as a big fan of Iron Fist myself. Now, I understand that there are going to be people out there that are upset, and there are, and I can see where they're coming from. I think an Asian actor would have been great in the role. I think Steve Yeun specifically, as you've heard me talk about on the Marvelite, I was stumping for him to get the job, and I understand that systemic racism and representation in Hollywood is a massive, massive issue. But I still really like this casting. And if you're angry about that, I'm sorry. I understand, like I said, I understand where you're coming from. I understand your frustrations. But in my opinion, this is an almost perfect casting of an actor for the traditional comic book version of the character. If we've got to start with the shallow part of it, I think he actually is a dead ringer looks-wise for Danny Rand. And no, I'm not talking about the complexion, although, yes, he is also white. But between it's the hair, the eyes, the whole look of it, I can just see him under that cowl, and it matches up perfectly with the Iron Fist that I've read, for most of my comic book reading life. But beyond that even, he's a great actor on Game of Thrones. And speaking about Game of Thrones, the fact that Jones had experience on that complex, larger-than-life fantasy series is probably a big reason why he got cast and might point towards what they want to try to do with Iron Fist. But, that's pretty much my thoughts on the casting. I'm not going to say anything else, and I don't get into arguments on the internet anymore, because you're never going to change anybody's minds, and you never will. No matter who you are. It could be me, it could be, anybody. You will never change anybody's minds, and nothing that I say here in this video will really have any bearing or impact on anybody that's actually upset with this casting, because there are still some very real issues with race and representation in Hollywood, and there's still a struggle going on to this day. But that being said, I like the casting. I think Finn Jones is going to knock it out of the park, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. In our next story, and potentially lighter news, more about Wolverine 3 and the film reportedly circling an R rating. I think that's the first time any news about an R-rated movie has been lighter news. It's been reported for a while now that this movie would be hit with the R ratings tag, but a new report from The Hollywood Reporter suggests that they've not only known about that, they've been planning to, quote-unquote, up the intensity for a long time. This piece of news is, to me at least, a pretty clear reaction to the internet now saying that everything rated R after Deadpool is rated R because of Deadpool's success with the ratings, which it looks like even Fox now is going to have to deny. But the article makes a good point. As far back as last year's SDCC, when Hugh Jackman tweeted out the Wolverine 3 teaser image, the now famous One Last Time middle claw, I guess you could say, there were signs that this might have been planned as an R-rated turn on the character. And if it does follow the Old Man Logan storyline, like the rumor now has it, I don't think there's any way that it would have ever been PG-13. In our last story of the day, Megalyn Echikunwoke made her live-action debut as her formerly animated character on Arrow. Echikunwoke had of course played Vixen in CW Seed's animated short-run series a couple of months ago and will reprise her role for the show's second season. In advance of her character's live-action debut last night, she spoke with CBR yesterday about the potential for more live-action appearances from her, and maybe even her own live-action show. Let's take a look at the quote. Who doesn't want their own superhero show? Come on, if that happened, I definitely would not be sad. I just love the opportunity to play this character in live action, and I think if the fans appreciate it, like I hope they will, that I would love to do more in any capacity, really. I'm really excited about the second season of the animated show, and I'm really excited about the idea of bringing Vixen into all of the universes, basically getting to hang out with all of her comic book friends, even the Suicide Squad or the Justice League. All of that would be very cool. Now, if you didn't check out the episode, you can check out our review at the annotation right next to my head, but Honestly, it's kind of worth it for Echiken Woki alone, but it was also just a really good episode of Arrow, one of the better ones of this season so far, but her performance makes me wonder why they didn't involve her sooner. So that wraps it up for yet another HNN. Don't forget to smash that freaking like if you liked what you saw, and subscribe for more great content every single day. Signing off, this is CJ, and I'll see you tomorrow.